Okay, this is a OK Tolush game played in 1957 in a USSR championship. It was featured as a notable Tal game in the Tal wiki. Tal was requested by one of my YouTube video friends, so I thought it could be entertaining. Tal was a brilliant world champion, just 1 year, but he was known as the Magician. And this game kind of shows why. It's a fantastic attack and an inspiration for the attacking player. Tal plays c4 and then knight f6. What we have in the opening is a king's Indian defence transposition. And now Tal plays what's known as the Saemisch variation. The Saemisch named after an old master who had a reputation of losing lots of games on time. But this was one of his contributions to modern opening theory, the Saemisch variation of the king's Indian. e5 now. Bishop g5. Tal prepares the castle queen side, so we're in for an exciting game with kings on opposite wings. The centre becomes closed, so this often means that black has to be careful to be able to generate counterplay on the queen side. And the speed of counterplay is often less in the queen side or the centre, obviously, because the centre is blocked up, which means Tal can more easily afford a flank attack now with pawns, just like g4 here. It's very difficult for black to immediately punish this. So the queen side counterplay has to start with a6 and then b5 later. So Tal ruthlessly continues just attacking with these pawns to get at the black king. And now just doesn't mind this b takes c4, because he even sacrifices that c-pawn. All he's concerned about now, he's got very good communication with his rooks. The queen can come to h2 if necessary. It's starting to look like an ideal Saemisch variation hack attack position. So black's in real danger here. The rook here is supporting a knight f5 tactic, because this g-file is going to be very dangerous for the black king. So knight f5 is played. Black dare not open that up. And now we see, black offered the fianchetto bishop, was a bit strange. Were there any other decent moves here? We'll have a quick look. What is the threat here? For example, say we just played a5. What has black got here? Maybe hg, opening the h file, knight takes g6, and now queen h2. Crude but effective. How is black defending this? Knight df8? Maybe knight h6 here. King g7. Well, it looks very dangerous for the black king, but maybe there isn't anything too concrete to punish it at the moment. Anyway, so black controversially gave up this bishop, volunteered this bishop to be taken. So the dark squares are in theory a lot weaker now. So now f4, very interesting move, this f4. From a positional point of view, it seems a bit silly to give black this very strong knight outpost, and also in front of that pawn, it will be difficult to dislodge the knight. So it's a sort of anti-positional move, but it does open up this dynamic f-file pressure. Often we see in GM games a player allowing to be in a way positionally outplayed in return for the dynamic compensation, attacking compensation. So here we've got extra pressure now on the f-file. So white now opens up that h-file a bit more. So the beautiful knight outpost, in theory, if it wasn't for the black king being under fire here, this beautiful looking position would be actually probably a win in the end game, especially with the extra material. But bishop f4, Tal's going to ruin this beautiful picture with a crude hack attack. Queen h6, bishop g5. So a weakness is provoked with f6 now. If black queen had just moved, I think it would be very dangerous. Say queen a5. Bishop f6 now will be mating on these dark squares. There's no defence here. So black has to be careful. So he played f6. But now we see one of the points of this f4 move. It was also to unblockade this pawn, at least tactically. Because white now, Tal unleashes e5. So he's leaving his bishop in pre, and this bishop here, which was tucked away, is now pointing at g6 and is about to dismantle the black king position. So So rook takes e5, now bishop takes g6, and it's looking very, very dangerous now. So black played rook b7, so why nothing like rook takes g5? Well, rook takes g5 would have allowed bishop takes h7. Now say king f7, white's got a clear advantage here. Just knight e4, and it seems to be quite crushing. E.g. rook e5, and now white can even just continue opening up lines a bit more with g5. That'll be all over for the black king. This is just far too much, just gf and rook g7. All the resources are pouring into black's king's position very, very quickly. So anyway, so black played rook b7, trying to hold things together. But now white played knight e4 anyway, so that's a beautiful knight outpost on e4. Now f takes g. Now white's definitely got the better of this position. He just plays rook f1 now. So why couldn't black just play, for example, knight takes g6 here? Let's have a look at knight takes g6. Knight f6 check is a killer move here, because if the king moves to h8, there's a mate with queen takes h7 with rook and knight mate. That would be quite pretty. But if knight f6 and then king f7, say, this is really looking horrific with this rook in firing the king. Queen h7, and it's going to be mate in 2 here. King f8, queen g8, king e7, and now rook h7 mate. So this is not very good. Rook f1, so it's supporting this knight f6 idea. What black played here was rook takes e4 rather desperately. So it's going to be material down now. And white's still got this raging attack. Rook g7. And now Tal plays rook f6. So that's an unpleasant outpost for the rook, and also threatening just the double up rooks maybe. Bishop takes g4, and now the doubling of rooks occurs, so intensifying the attacking pressure. It's quite amazing that Tal can take a breath sometimes and just reinforce his pressure, just when the opponent, thinks it's okay. So Tal's bringing in more pressure into the attack. Now rook takes d6. So black's being dismantled structurally as well, because that was supporting the c5 pawn. There's also the a6 pawn now being exposed. So it's not just the king which is under fire, it's all of black's pawns. Queen e7. Now rook takes a6. So the bishop's unpre, but there's rook a8 check, which will be punishing that quite severely. So the bishop's immune. Black played now king h8. And white now played another Tal brilliancy. Instead of just rook a8 check, which might allow rook g8, he plays bishop takes h7 first. And this is all gone. It's just all gone. Black plays knight b8. Because if rook h7, this rook a8 check is going to be even more dangerous than before. There's nothing black can do apart from suicide chess here to stave off the mate. So after bishop takes h7, knight b8, Tal plays bishop f5. He's just crashed through black's king's position, and now he's got bishop e6 check. So that staves off any queen e3 checks from black. And after bishop e6, rook e6, he's had enough. He resigns here. So it was a fine attacking demonstration in the Saemisch King's engine of white just castling on opposite sides, and this seemingly anti-positional move of f4. So it really punishes black's cheekiness to lose that bishop. White plays cheeky as well, just to give this, in theory, this fine blockade square on this pawn on a semi-open file. But it's in fact it's liberated the e-pawn tactically in some variations, and once that e-pawn moves, then the e4 square becomes a dangerous a resource for white, which we saw here. So this was beautiful stuff. It just shows the power of the attack, and Tal just dismantling black after that, taking time to win a few pawns as well. So fantastic attacking demonstration, and led to Tal's first victory in a USSR championship. So hence one of his notable games in Wiki.